काष्ठी वल्ली ऊर्ध्वमूलो अवाक्शाख एषोऽश्वत्थः सनातनः तदेव शुक्रं तद्ब्रह्म तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकाश्रिताः सर्वे तदुनात्येति कश्चन एतद्वै तत यदिदं किञ्च जगत्सर्वं प्राण एजति निःसृतं महद्भयं वज्रमुद्यतं य एतद्विदुरमृतास्ते भवन्ति भयादस्याग्निस्तपति भयात्तपति सूर्यः भयादिन्द्रश्च वायुश्च मृत्युर्धावति पञ्चमः इह चेदशकद्बोद्धुं प्राक्शरीरस्य विश्रसः ततः सर्गेषु लोकेषु शरीरत्वाय कल्पते यथा दर्शे तथात्मनि यथा स्वप्ने तथा पितृलोके यथाप्सु परीव ददृशे तथा गन्धर्वलोके छायातपयोरिव ब्रह्मलोके इन्द्रियाणां पृथग्भावम् उदयास्तमयोचयत पृथगुत्पद्यमानानां मत्वा धीरो न शोचति इन्द्रियेभ्यः परं मनो मनसः सत्त्वमुत्तमम् सत्त्वादधिमहानात्मा महतो व्यक्तमुत्तमम् अव्यक्तात्तु परः पुरुषो व्यापको लिङ्ग एव च यं ज्ञात्वा मुच्यते जन्तोरमृतत्वं च गच्छति न सन्दृशे तिष्ठति रूपमस्य न चक्षुषा पश्यति कश्चनैनं हृदा मनीषा मनसाभिक्लृप्तो य एतद्विदुरमृतास्ते भवन्ति।
The second mantra, he said, this whole universe has emerged from Brahman. And it moves in prana. So, as we understood, Brahman is responsible for the creation of the universe. That's what he's saying. The whole universe has emerged from Brahman. We did caution when we say this, there is a common error that's committed by people in the intellectual lobbies, where they conclude to say that God has created the world. There is a fallacy if you say God has created the world, because they draw or they conclude from statements like these. And throughout the scriptures, there are statements like these which say Brahman, or the world has emerged from Brahman. But when you say Brahman is responsible for the world, for any creation, there has to be a motive. There has to be an urge. There has to be a desire. In fact, there are two things. There has to be the urge, the motive or the desire, all in one and the same. Secondly, the creator must identify with the urge to create. The creator must identify with the desire to create. So, two things: without the urge, there is no creation. Without the identification with the urge, there's no creation. Just like a singer has a desire to sing. Just because the singer has a desire to sing, he's not singing all the time. There are times he feels in the mood, he has a desire to sing, he identifies with the urge to sing, and he goes about singing. Similarly, a painter, just because he has a desire to paint, whenever he sees a canvas, whenever he sees a wall, he doesn't go about painting. Then he's a maniac. Something wrong with him. So the painter identifies with the urge to paint, and there is the creation of a paint. So in any creation, there are these two things: the urge to create and the identification with the urge. If this applies to any creation, and if you were to apply this simple logic to the ultimate creation, which is the creation of the world, you would be also committing the greatest error of attributing a motive to God, and as if God has identified with that motive to go about creating the world. So you would be wrong on two notes: that you have planted a motive in God, and you also have attributed a desire to identify with the urge, also as a desire. You are planting these two to God, and there lies the error. Many people don't realize that when they say God created the world, they are making this fundamental fallacy. Therefore, then what is the meaning to this statement when they say that the universe has emerged from Brahman? And Brahman is responsible for the creation. Now, throughout we have said Brahman is responsible for the creation. For any creation, there is to be a cause and effect. But with reference to the creation of the world, there is no cause and effect relationship. When you say cause and effect, you take a parent and a child. The parent is the cause, the child is the effect. You talk of a chicken and egg, chicken is the cause, the egg is the effect. You take the example of the seed and the tree. The seed is the cause, the tree is the effect. There is a direct cause and effect relationship established. But with reference to Brahman and the world, there is no cause and effect relationship. There is no cause and effect. Therefore, they say Brahman is said to be the causeless cause. It is the cause, it is also causeless. You must understand and appreciate to explain these concepts. The language breaks. The language is limited to explain the inexplicable. So you have to go beyond the limitation of the words to explain that lies beyond the words. So when you say causeless cause, what we must understand is just like the rope is responsible for the snake. If you go and ask the rope will say, I don't know what you're talking. Rope will not even deny. Hey, why did you go about creating the snake? I said, what are you talking? I'm sorry, I don't understand. No. There was a snake just now. I'm sorry. What are you talking? The rope has nothing to do with the snake. It is your ignorance. The ignorance of the rope has created the snake. A rope has got nothing to do with the snake. Similarly, ignorance of Brahman has created the world of plurality. The ignorance of the reality has created the world of illusion, the world of Maya. In simple terms, what I've said in the last few minutes can actually give you a clarity to this very important statement when he says the world has emerged from Brahman, or Brahman is responsible for the world. If you have these few ideas trying to understand this concept, you seal it. Believe me, you have got the most difficult concept. You've got hold of it. I can't put it in any simpler terms than this. So when they say Brahman is the causeless cause, just like rope is the cause for the snake, because if there was no rope, they would not have been misunderstood as a snake. But yet, rope has got nothing to do with the snake. Similarly, Brahman, because Brahman has been misunderstood, it is the ignorance of Brahman that has brought about this world. And yet Brahman has got nothing to do with the world. God has got nothing to do with the world. These are two opposites. Brahman is the transcendental, the world is terrestrial. It's just like, what has light got to do with darkness? Light and darkness don't go together. Knowledge and ignorance don't go together. So how can you say one has emerged from the other? In fact, the absence of one creates the rise of the other. The absence of knowledge brings about ignorance. The absence of light brings about darkness. The absence of the transcendental cognition brings about the awareness of the world, realizing, or the presence of the world. In our daily experiences, you are a waker now. Hopefully, some of us in India have woken up, because it is pretty cold here. It is maybe early. It's 12, 13 degrees. And nobody wants to get up. The moment I said that, Suresh put on his camera just to give us a proof that he has woken up. Otherwise, he must have logged in and he must be sleeping in the bed also. That also is possible. I know, sir. I know. Just for clarity purpose, I'm just putting it straight for the record that you have been there from the beginning, but just the moment I said that, you switched on the camera, sir. Just for record purposes. Then moment I say Harish also did that. I don't know. There's something. Now more cameras are coming now. So the waking world is real only when the dream world dies. When you are in the dream world, the waking world is unreal. The waking world doesn't exist. So it is the ignorance of the waking world, the dream world exists. Is it not? The ignorance of the reality of the waking world, the dream world exists. The moment you wake up to the waking world, what happens to that erstwhile dream? What happens to the dream experiences you're so caught up in? They become unreal. They don't exist anymore. Exactly the same way, when you and I wake up to that realization of the fourth state, they say this world, which we call as real, becomes a play of ignorance. So all the sadhana, whatever you do, whether you do karma, which is selfless service, whether you are attuned to bhakti, to revel in the glory of the Lord, or you're scrutinizing these texts through jnanam, or you plunge into that silence of meditation, ultimate culmination, whatever sadhana you do, culmination is to realize, awake to the cognition of the self. The moment that awakening happens, the ignorance that we are caught up in dispels. All this is to experience this awakening. And some of us may say, oh my God, you have given us a, a challenge of summiting the most unscalable mountain. How am I going to reach that state? And to comfort seekers like us, to comfort us, they say the benefit and the beauty of this knowledge is relative and absolute. To the statement, I said that the awakening of the higher the ignorance of the lower goes, right? Because knowledge and ignorance are opposite. Ignorance prevails as long as knowledge doesn't exist. The moment knowledge comes in, ignorance disappears. Now, am I to wait until I get to that state of realization, which may be a long, long, long way to go? Man, that is very discouraging. To which to comfort us, they say, this experience of knowledge combating ignorance or light dispelling darkness happens in degree. Happening in degree means it is applicable at the relative level, it's applicable at the absolute level. So, to the extent you are doing your sadhana correctly, sadhana is your effort. Sadhana literally means your spiritual effort, your effort to nullify ignorance, your effort to address areas of ignorance, your effort not to become a victim of ignorance. So if this day to day effort is being put in collaboratively, if you collectively take an account of all that effort you put in over a period of time, over a short period of time, you will definitely start seeing results at a relative level. You will certainly see your result is directly commensurate to the effort you put in. A consistent effort. Believe me, mark my words, it has to be consistent effort. Every day, a little dose of knowledge. That little dose depends on how much knowledge you need. A little bhakti, whatever selfless karma. What have I done for a cause beyond myself? In a day, ask yourself, what have I done to serve a cause? A cause that you believe in. If you believe in this knowledge, what have I done to serve this knowledge? Or am I only taking from this knowledge? Whatever cause that you believe in, what have I done? So when you diligently do your sadhana, believe me, you will experience the benefit of knowledge dispelling ignorance like light dispels darkness. And if you're not experiencing it, something is incomplete in your sadhana. Something is amiss. It's like if a salt is amiss, if a little spice is less, if whatever is required in a dish, if some ingredient is missing, obviously it doesn't bring about that the taste that you want. The taste is missing. So there's nothing wrong in what is being prescribed. What is being prescribed is karma, bhakti, jnanam. What is being prescribed is the combination of doing knowledge, devotion, and service. When you don't do this, you will resort to other practices. There's no right and wrong, but you must do what is being prescribed correctly. To have trust and faith in what is being said, then you will start seeing results. So the comfort is it is relative and absolute. So to the extent 20% you practice this, 20% you get the benefit. To that extent, there is no more ignorance in you. Now, since I'm talking of ignorance, I don't know whether it's repetitive. I don't know. Did we recently discuss this, Gayatrima? How does ignorance manifest? How do you recognize ignorance in our lives? Did we discuss of late?
Yes, Guruji, few classes before.
Or is it, did we? expression of ignorance, because if we were to identify ignorance, we discuss. Okay, so if we have discussed, I don't want to repeat myself, but please go back into your notes. You should be able to. But to be conscious of your areas of ignorance, how ignorance manifests itself, and you address those areas of ignorance. Is like when you're trying to battle uh, ill health, you're directly addressing areas of ill health. For example, I have developed a minor strain in my right arm, especially between the wrist and the elbow, the forearm. So there is a sprain. So if I have to recover, well, I have to do either specific exercise or I need to rest that part of the arm, give it time so that that particular sprain, the body heals and recovers. If I undermine that, if I disregard it, so much so to the extent there is pain, even if I twist and sleep onto my right side, I can instantly feel the pain. So I need to be mindful. The body is telling, I'm not good, take care of it. Spiritual ignorance also has clear manifestations. You must heed it and you must take care of it. And if you don't address that particular symptom, if I don't heed this sprain, what would happen? A time would come, I might rupture or damage that particular muscle or nerve or what tendon, whatever that has been ruptured, almost to a point I'll become incapacitated. My arm will become redundant until I repair it, which might require much more greater attention than just minor application of balm or minor heat therapy or whatever minor treatment. So you see, it is specific. So you must be very, very specific as to what are the areas of your ignorance. Ignorance is a very general term. Ignorance in me manifests in a particular way. Ignorance in Pramita manifests in a particular way. Ignorance in Haresh, ignorance in Amita, ignorance in Setuji. Each one of us, ignorance is manifesting in a particular way. How I have to address it is not the way you have to address it. But it's all ignorance. Ignorance is a general term. Never mind, I may have repeated. I would like to mention, I would like to ask you all, what are your thoughts? How does ignorance manifest in your day-to-day activities, which you should address? We may have discussed it, but there's no harm in spending a moment or two on that. I feel it's very important. Again, it's a very generic concept. We're talking nothing specific, but how does it manifest? If each one, if I were to ask, mention one expression, and then we will hear from a few. What are the expressions of ignorance which you must be conscious of? I only want one from each. I'll start with Sureshji.
You have carried out a particular action, and although you focused totally on the action, but you did not get the result which you envisaged, and that is affecting you. It is affecting you so much that you become extremely despondent for a long period of time. That means you are not able to accept the failure of that particular action. That is an expression of that despondency is a manifestation of your ignorance. Because the moment you make an attempt to identify with the self, then you accept whatever comes, whether it is success or failure, as the universal will. Your inability to see that your personal will is in alignment with the universal will, is leading to that despondency. This is a manifestation of ignorance. A sadhaka will will make always an attempt to remember that he has to rest in Brahman and carry out his worldly actions with commitment to the action, with dexterity, oblivious to the consequence of the action.
So the beauty of Suresh is not only he'll give you a problem, he'll give you a solution also. Thank you, Suresh. So, if I get you right, the despondency arising because of anxiety for the fruits of your action.
Yes. And more than fruits, the non acceptance of the consequence of your action. That is despondency, which is a manifestation of ignorance.
All right. Fair enough. Very much noted, sir. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Ji. Vasantama.
Guruji. I think you had taught us about being in satsang with yourself. Satsang meaning trying to find fault with others. Dussang. That is ignorance. You are trying to find fault with others instead of finding fault with yourself. That is ignorance. You're always trying to find fault with others.
Okay. So, trying to, in other words, what is that attitude of finding fault with others? Very interesting point. I would not have thought in this way. There is a beauty in a classroom when you get different views. You have a different perspective to the same concept. So, finding fault with others, right?
Yes.
What could you call this as being? Can we say this in a broader sense? Can we say being extroverted?
Yes.
In a layman's term, you may say being judgmental, as Ramji says, but in a spiritual sense, you're being extroverted. Okay? Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you.
Seduji?
Hariom Guru.
Hariom, sir.
This many times we mistake love as attachment as love, which lead to sorrow and suffering. We suffer a lot because we are attached to things, but we think we are loving and they are not reciprocating. Or
So the concept of love vis-a-vis attachment.
That's the ignorance.
Manifestation of ignorance as attachment. Okay. So what is the solution to this?
Solution is knowledge.
Again, you're giving a general answer. If one mistakes attachment to love, what should be the advice?
See, attachment is love plus selfishness. We have to remove the selfish element. When we become unselfish in our love is unconditional, there is no attachment.
So if a person is going through this, it becomes a victim of this particular expression, what would be your advice to that person?
Be detached, that is, be unselfish. See, what he is thinking is he is loving. He feels, but what he is doing is there is a selfish. Now, say the love between parent and children. Parent thinks they are thinking always in terms of the children's welfare and all that. But they are actually, it is a conditional, transactional love, and they do lot of things with expectations, or they want them to listen to them and go their way. But the mistake is, there is a selfish. If they are detached and they only empower them and they support them when they require, then they both will be happy, and love will bloom between them. But so everywhere in our transaction, the selfishness leads to agitation. Selfishness is the thing. We have to become more and more unselfish.
Sir, when you talk about love vis-a-vis attachment, vis-a-vis selfish being unselfish, though you bring in the selfish element into the equation as attachment, or sorry, love plus selfishness is attachment, is the right equation. But how do I practice it? Now you're prescribing a solution are you prescribing a solution of detachment, or are you prescribing a solution of being unselfish? Because they are two different qualities.
I feel unselfishness will lead to detachment. In my view, they are little linked, because the moment
I'm asking, are you bringing this connection because of the equation? But can't we see selfishness, though they are connected? Yeah, I understand and I appreciate the connection. But if I were to bring an example of mother and child, am I advising the mother be unselfish to the child or be detached to the child? I must encourage the mother to be detached to the child. Why are you so consumed with the interest of the child? Though it could be your only child, the mother is so caught up, so obsessed with the child's well-being. It can't think of anything other than the child, because, in fact, what happened, I think in the news, it's been some businessman, no? Who is this? His only son passed away because of heart attack. Who's that? It came in the news. And the result is Vedanta group. What is his name?
Agarwal.
Agarwal, correct. In fact, this man was very close to, I think he's still close to Swamiji. And the word Vedanta he borrowed through Swamiji, my guru. And however, that apart, when he came to know when he lost his son, what he did, 75% of his wealth, which is equivalent to 30,000 crores, he has given it away to charity. He said, I'm giving it away. In the news, in the media. All he's accumulated, everything is for my son, my son, my son. My son only is gone. What am I acquiring for? For whom am I acquiring? Instant that Smashana Vairagam has come. Not that he's not giving out of having no value for wealth. That wealth that he has amassed is for his child, an only child gone, he gave it away. He's written, openly told in the media, 30,000 crores, 75% of his wealth given up to charity. Now he is being unselfish. Is it really unselfish there? Not unselfish. So the quality of detachment that has to be practiced. To a person who's extremely selfishly running behind thing for his own egoistic satisfaction, to him you can say, man, why can't you serve your organization? Why can't you serve the people in need? Like yesterday you were telling, and I went to the event which was run by the Meenakshi Foundation, headed by Setuji and Vasantama and the family, and in the hospital where they do this charity of hearing aids. And I remember you were saying yesterday, if all you doctors and young practitioners of medicine and students of medicine, if you all learn to do some service in your field, you will find extreme joy and great happiness in your life. You're not trying to tell them to be detached there. You're trying to tell them that you must be a giver. So there is a reflection of detachment and unselfishness, but they are two independent qualities that can be advocated, can be practiced. So I noted that you're trying to club these two in one hand, that detachment and unselfishness. I think we should separate them and explain independently. They are individual qualities that can be practiced. You get my point, Setuji? Like the advice you gave. Did you not give this advice yesterday? You did not tell them to be detached. You were telling them to be unselfish, right?
I gave because we have experience and we want everyone to.
Perfect. To be a giver. As a giver, you are encouraging others to give. Perfect.
Program what we arranged is not in our objective or scope. But I thought interns are coming and we have access to such experts, and colleges are for various reasons unable to organize. I thought we should create that platform.
No, absolutely. You're certainly bridging the gap in the industry, and it is well recognized by those who are in the industry, and they very much acknowledge the service you all are rendering. There's no doubt about it. But and much appreciated what you're doing in that field, sir. But to the point I'm trying to, when you say ignorance, how does it manifest? Here you're talking about an extreme attachment, like a mother having an attachment to the child, and that attachment causes extreme pain. So what the mother could enjoy the growth of the child, but the child which should bring joy to the mother brings extreme agony to the child. It could be a person attached to his business, or I could be attached to my student. So the student who should be a joy to me brings pain to me because I'm attached to you. It could be any attachment, any object that you're attached to brings a source of pain rather than bringing a source of joy.
Particularly, it happens when the mother looks for a bride for her son with all efforts. But the moment they get married, she feels insecure. Her son is going to part. She wants to have control on him, where the tussle starts.
Amitama is smiling like she never smiled before. I don't know if there is a message for us. Amitama, very sorry to highlight you.
The ignorance has just manifested in my reality.
Reflecting in three suns, not one sun. So the message is threefold.
Yeah.
No. Thanks for always being sportive, Ma. Thank you very much. Yeah. We'll come to you if you have any contribution.
Yes.
Thanks, Setuji.
Yeah.
Thanks, Setuji. Yes, Ramji.
Hare Om, sir. This same example of Vedanta Agarwal that you mentioned, if he had given away 75% of his wealth when the son was alive, that would have been what? That would have been detachment, or that would have been selflessness?
So selflessness is a very profound word. We need to be
not selflessness, but unselfish.
Unselfish, yeah. Unselfish.
It would have been unselfish, or that would have been detachment.
It is.
I'm just trying to understand, because we had this discussion just now.
Yeah.
When he accumulated wealth for his son, was there selfishness in that? Was there attachment in that?
No, I would not like to discuss a personality beyond the point.
No, I'm just saying that this can happen.
This can happen with everybody. As a principle.
With everybody.
As a principle. Okay. So what is the question, sir?
The question is that giving away wealth, when you have everything going well, not when there is a tragedy, is detachment or is unselfishness. Because we were just trying to differentiate between detachment and unselfishness a little while ago. What Setuji said, attachment is love plus selfishness. So I'm just trying to, I don't know the answer. I'm just asking that when people try to, because I know people who have made announcements that when everything is fine also, they are giving away 20% of their wealth, 30% of their wealth. So is that unselfishness or is it detachment? Is there a difference between the two? That is,
when I quoted, what the term I used when we referred to the gentleman, I said smashana vairagyam.
Correct.
Smashana vairagyam is a false sense of detachment arising due to a tragedy or in a crematorium. Smashana vairagyam. So, Gayatri, I just put that Smashana Vairagyam in the chat box for those who can't capture it. Smashana is a crematorium, Vairagyam is detachment. So the false sense of detachment arising because of a situation or context. It is not because of maturity of establishing higher values where you have no value for it. So I did not tell that that gentleman gave because of his identification with a higher ideal or a purpose. So since the question is whether is it unselfishness or is it detachment, if a person is giving when
everything is all right, not
when
at the time of tragedy.
when everything is all right, it is sign of detachment. Unselfishness is specifically acting to a particular cause, or in nature you're a giver, but that act of giving can be expressed as a man who is detached to it. But I can see where you're coming from, and I can see it's reflecting in unselfishness also. You can argue it either way. But when we talk of a person giving out of emotion, of despondency, it is.
No, I'm not referring to this particular case. I am just because I have seen many people announcing that I have $2 billion. I will keep only $500 million for my children and $1.5 billion I am donating. Okay, so that is when everything is fine, they make that announcement. So does it indicate unselfishness or does it indicate detachment? Is there a difference between the two? That is, that's what I was trying to just understand.
Is there a difference between unselfishness and detachment? Detachment cannot be practiced. Unselfishness can be practiced.
Detachment is a result of unselfish action.
Yeah,
or detachment leads to unselfish actions.
Sir, don't confuse me, sir. I paused for a minute and said a statement. Now I'm confused. What did I say, sir?
You said detachment cannot be practiced. You can only practice unselfishness.
Correct. You can try to be unselfish. You can't practice detachment. So detachment is an effect of unselfishness.
So there is a relation between the two.
There is a relation, but one is a cause, other is effect. But since you are asking me to mark a difference, I'm saying there is a difference. One is a cause, other is an effect. So detachment is a state you reach. Detachment is a state you reach, sir.
So in day-to-day, if you practice unselfishness, you will reach a state of detachment, let's say. Detachment is a destination, while unselfishness is an action in day-to-day life, maybe. Okay,
Not maybe, sir. It is, sir.
it is.
Why
Okay.
are you saying maybe? Then again, still a doubt there. I wouldn't put a doubt. No, is there a doubt?
No.
Hmm.
Okay.
But
No.
they are so close, you can almost uh, make me maybe use in same breath. But we can still you look at it differently. You can to be more precise.
Hmm.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. How does selflessness contribute to inner peace? Forget selflessness. You have to forget the word selfless. First, try to be unselfish. Get rid of your, if one gets rid of I and my from one's life and think of a higher cause and serve, unselfishness is itself going to give you inner peace. Selflessness is like uh, you being a student of music, you become Tyagaraja of music. What is Tyagaraja in Carnatic music? He is God, the God incarnation. They consider Tyagaraja as a God. So selflessness is literally an act being personified to the extent of attaining godliness. So would you ever think you are Tyagaraja? It's like worship like God. How can I say? So for you, selflessness is Tyagaraja. You will understand that example so strongly that you will be very careful how you use the word. Correct? It's almost like earlier also I said we use it so lightly, it has lost its sanctity or intensity. So selflessness is a very strong word. Okay. Mm. Sureshji?
This beautiful point which Ramji sir has brought out. What if the person gives when the sun is alive? What is the motivation for him to give when the sun is alive? I think that's a very beautiful question. I think such a person who gives when the sun is alive, he is acting uh, out of two ingredients. I would call it love and compassion. Love towards the sun and compassion towards the universe. And basically, such a person has his roots in spiritual wisdom. You see, when he is acting in a spirit of love towards the sun, you know, 30,000 crores of the entire thing, if I give to the sun, what is he going to do with it? I have so many examples in my professional practice where the children have been given wealth on a platter, and they have become irresponsible and the wealth gets squandered. Therefore, a person who practices positive attachment and a constructive detachment, he will say, this much is enough for my son. Because the entire universe, my fellow beings, they are all a manifestation of Brahman. And therefore, when I serve my fellow beings, I am also serving the divine. And therefore, he says, this much is enough for my son, so that he doesn't become irresponsible, so that he continues to understand that work is worship. At the same time, I have so much, and therefore, this much I will give to the society, to the community, like somebody who set up the Stanford University in the US. You see, something which will endure into posterity and for the good of humanity. So such a person acts with love and compassion, love towards the sun and compassion towards the universe. And compassion is nothing but an unconditional flowering of love, where the other person becomes irrelevant. I give because I feel it is my nature, my innermost urge to give, and therefore I give, and I give unconditionally, like a rose releasing its fragrance. That is the difference. So when I act like this, it is actually positive attachment to my son, and it's also constructive detachment. And when I serve the community, it is selflessness, and unconditional flowering of my love for the community at large. So that is how I am practicing positive attachment, and I am also practicing constructive detachment, and I am also acting in a spirit of selflessness. And the base for all this is spiritual wisdom, which our scriptures are giving us.
So absolutely right, sir. And I'll encourage you to find ways and means. I know you in your profession you say how difficult it is to talk to your clients. You say you have said this before, but I will encourage you to find ways and means that this wisdom that you are sharing trickles down as a additional service to your additional service.
It is one of the reasons I'm very inclined to continue to be active in my profession. Because, somewhere somebody, 1 out of 50, somewhere something hits him and his life is changed. I think there is a meaning to my life.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can instill this thought to encourage them to be a giver in their lives.
Yesterday, Guruji, I was reading one of the devotees of Ramana Maharshi was a great soul called Kavyakanta Ganapati Muni. Kavyakanta, this Ganapati Muni once told the Maharshi, you need so little, you hardly need anything to live in this terrestrial world. And the Maharshi smiled. You must reach the stage where you will feel that not only, forget about very little, you don't even need anything. You don't even need this body. You must reach that stage because, he was continuously steeped in Brahman. So his response was such, you don't even need the body. Because he at that height of the oneness with Brahman. See that kind of response. What are you talking of the little things which you need to live? You don't even need the body.
Right, sir. Amazing. Thank you, Ji. Thank you. So we have noted a few points. The concept we were discussing is expression of ignorance. So if you become conscious and plug in those areas, you will find how wisdom will reveal itself, dispelling the ignorance manifesting in a particular way. It could be selfishness, it could be attachment, it could be I'm just referring to the points that was said, anxiety or non-acceptance of the consequence of actions, or trying to find faults with the world, or trying to be dependent. We are overly dependent on people. We are overly dependent on external factors for your peace and comfort. And if that external factor is not there, you feel the absence of people or absence of support or absence of something. So that ability to be self-sufficient. So the many qualities that you can practice, many areas that you can be mindful of. Okay. All right. So coming back to the verse, the mantra, in the can we have the mantra, Gayatri Ma, just for quick reference? So from the second line, he says the Brahman is a great terror. Mahat Bhayam. Mahat is great. Bhayam is a terror. And he compares Brahman to be one with an uplifted thunderbolt. Vajram is a weapon. Udhyatam, uplifted. Those who know this become immortal. Thanks. So the word great terror, Mahad Bhayam, how should you interpret this? It's a beautiful concept. So there is a, why are you associating at, so when you associate Brahman as a terror, we are talking about how there's a sense of fear. Imagine if there is a parent or a head of an organization who's a terror. In fact, yesterday we were at the meeting, as I've said, there's a new superintendent of that hospital, and I could note, oh, she's a very tough lady. I noted that. And later on, when I was talking to Setuji, he said, yeah, Guruji, she's come recently to that organization, and she's actually a terror. She's a very tough lady. So everybody is terrified working under her because she is a no-nonsense woman. She is ironing out all imperfections. No nonsense is accepted. You try to play mischief, you will be paid for your actions. You are accountable. So when would you call a person a terror? Because that people are afraid of not violating or not breaking the rules and regulations that they have to follow. Nobody has to tell them what they should do. But when they don't follow, they are fearful of the authority. Now, why is Brahman, having said the universe has emerged from Brahman, Brahman is a terror to Pramita? If I can ask you this. The world has emerged from Brahman, right?
Hari Om, Guruji. Why? Why a terror? Because Brahman is.
I don't want you to guess the answer. I want you to. I want to lead you to the answer. Firstly, we said the world has emerged from Brahman, right?
Right.
And Brahman is a terror to the world, right?
Right.
Now, my question is, what is the world? Everything in the world is meticulously functioning because, as it were, afraid of Brahman, because Brahman is like a thunderbolt, upholding thunderbolt. So the world is terrified of Brahman. So everything is very disciplined, everything is in order in the world. Can we conclude that way?
Yes, we can. It's the entire design, the entire big picture, the whole universe, everything is Brahman. So the entire order of things is Brahman, right?
That is right to say, everything is Brahman. But the world is operating in a very meticulous manner out of fear of Brahman. Because Brahman is a terror. So everything is very orderly. Now my question is, what is it that is very orderly in the world? To which my question is, what are the laws which govern the world? World is nothing but laws. LAWS. My question is, what are all the laws which are operating in the world, which govern the world, which are meticulously operating, meticulously functioning? I need to put you back 40, 50 years, or I don't want to make you older. So your school days, where you learned in science, their science presents all the laws which are manifesting in the world, isn't it?
Yes, all the like the laws of gravity and so on, Guruji, is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay. So
One is
all
the law of gravity. Yeah. What are the laws?
all the laws of physics would apply here. That keeps everything in meticulous order. The sun, the moon, the planets, and the way that everything functions, so perfectly, so immaculately.
Yes. Everything is so is functioning meticulously. Why are they functioning meticulously?
Because of the fear of Brahman.
Correct. You have to relate it that way because of the fear of Brahman. When you hear of Singapore, you being neighbors in Malaysia and Singapore, how no nonsense country it is. Mm. To a large extent, there is no corruption. There is a large extent, there is such an order as an ideal state. The whole world looks up to, and everything goes back to its founder, Lee Kuan Yew.
That's right.
He is an iron man, a man with an iron fist. That the way he brought about discipline and that system, which is so very evident. Even as a tourist, you walk into the country, you see a sense of order, and everybody's afraid of not breaking a law. Why? Because there is an authority, a power that oversees all that's operating in the country, right?
Right. But the minute they come to Malaysia, they break all the laws.
Because there's no superior authority following the thing here.
That's right. Yeah.
Malaysia is not a terror. Singapore is a terror. So it talks about the leader. I didn't say that. You said it.
Oops.
Oops. No worry. Don't worry. No, what I'm saying is when there is the authority and the law that is implemented, there has to be the fear. The moment you find the law is not being implemented, that means there's no fear. You get it? So if you look at it, science presents various laws which govern the world. There's physical laws, chemical laws, biological laws, gravitational law, and so on. Now, these are what we call them as external laws that govern the world. Now, thanks, Pramitama. I'll ask Ash. There are a lot of internal laws that govern the individual. What are the internal laws that govern you and me and all of us?
Hi, Guruji.
You joined in now, or were you there all the while?
Yes, Guruji. Yeah, I just joined in a few
Oh, you
minutes
just
ago.
joined in. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Good morning.
Yeah, no, it's actually night. I'm actually back in America, so
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So, Guruji, I think one of the laws would be laws of attachment. Is that correct?
The laws
Yeah.
of attachment.
Mm.
What are the laws that govern you and me?
Yeah. So, laws of attachment is one of the examples that I can think of.
There are many laws that govern our lives. More.
Oh, more. Okay.
Waiting.
The law of karma.
The law of karma,
Yeah.
which comes under the law of causation, the law of cause and effect,
Yeah.
the law of destiny, the law of karma, the law of causation, the law of attachment. What other laws are there? Anybody else? Paresh, can you think of any law other than this?
Guruji, I had the same answer with Ash. Law of karma was my forefront answer. I don't. I can't think of something else at the moment, Guruji, except law of karma. Guruji, is there such a thing as? I mean, that's the same thing. Law of no, it's the same thing. Sorry.
Which is?
I mean, the law of karma is the same as law of consequences. It's the same and it's the same thing. So
It could be the same thing, yeah.
yeah.
Yes, Setuji, you want to add something in the context?
I don't know whether it is a law, but a statement that you get what you deserve, not what you desire.
Yes, it is a law. The law of deserving vis-a-vis the law of desiring. Whenever you desire anything, you will never get it. The law says you must deserve, never desire. Very true. And there's also the law of happiness. What does the law of happiness say? Amitama, you've heard of the law of happiness?
Yes, Hariom Guruji, I'm going to take a try at this. Law of happiness, realizing the internal versus the external, the physical versus the terrestrial. So happiness is not found externally, not found through objects, it's more within.
Nothing external can give you true happiness. Happiness is internal. Yes, Vasantama. Perfect, Namitama.
As you think, so you become.
It's law of attachment, no? Already said.
No.
Law of attachment is as you think, so you become.
Okay.
It's a part of the law of attachment. Yes. There are laws that govern your birth. There are laws which govern your death. So all the laws, whether it's a bunch of external laws or the bunch of internal laws, all these laws are meticulously functioning because they are obeying a supreme commander. In fact, I keep saying this in the workshops that humanity is paying the price because of ignorance of the laws that govern life. If you want to get along with life, if you want to learn how to live life, living life is to function based on the laws that govern life. I'm fooling around, not realizing what life is, not knowing how to conduct myself in the arena of life because I'm ignorant of the laws that govern it. So humanity at large is paying the price for ignorance of not knowing what are the laws which govern life. Is there anything that we have not mentioned, Gayatrima? Page 211, question 95, and Wisdom Conversations.
Attach, you lose, detach, you gain. That is one thing.
Under the law of attachment only, right? Under the attachment law.
Action is symbol of life, inaction is death.
Action, law of action. Yes, the laws of action is another law. Swamiyama is creating new laws. You can please, parallelly, you can write a book. You can, nobody is going to stop you. Sureshji, you've been wanting to say something, sir?
No, I was wanting to add something in the context of Singapore, which you referred. Last month, I was there for a short while for my sister's function. There is so much to learn. We were driving on the road, and the traffic is so beautifully regulated. And I saw a bus, the public transport. And behind the bus, it is written, "Thank you for making way for me." On another bus, it is written, "Make way for the public transport." In the context of obeying a higher authority, in the process, I think you also infuse yourself with self-discipline. And that self-discipline brings a beauty to your life, is what I felt when I saw that. And that has impacted me. Now, when I travel on our roads and there is a bus guy who is honking, India is India, I consciously make an attempt to make way for the public transport. And the tremendous reverence for nature. Now, here we are talking about living, because the Brahman is like a thunderbolt, and therefore, the laws of the world respect that thunderbolt, and therefore the sun rises on time, the sun sets on time, the earth rotates because of that tremendous the Brahman, which is like a thunderbolt guiding the entire thing. If that also can be translated and brought into our terrestrial activities, how beautiful the world will become. And you go to that Singapore Botanical Gardens, what a celebration of nature. They have something called the Garden by the Bay, and it's a collection of plants and flowers from all over the world. Just imagine the kind of respect, the reverence for nature, and this public transport thing. These two things, they left such an impact on me, promoting already something which we know, that reverence for nature and the self-discipline, which is so important for a regulated and in the process, a beautiful life.
Sir, you just said, first point you said, consequences of action. So there's a consequence of you having said whatever you said now. Now you can't run away from the consequence.
Okay.
Will you say first yes to me?
Definitely. To you, there's no question of saying no.
Better watch out.
Doesn't matter. Whatever it is, I'm ready for the consequence.
Okay. Gayatri Ma, next retreat scheduled in Malaysia in the second week of April. Instead of Malaysia, the next retreat will be in Singapore, being organized by Sureshji. Wisdom retreat in Singapore by Sureshji. We all will come. So you can't run away from this. Okay.
Oh yes, why not?
Because we seem to learn a lot more from Singapore than Malaysia. Sorry, Pramitama. Sorry, Amitama.
No, just my two observations of.
Absolutely. No, I'm just kidding. But the retreat part we can consider, sir.
Definitely.
Right. Thank you, Ji. So why is Brahman a terror? I didn't understand. If you heard what I said, you understood. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Brahman is a terror, is a conclusion, not that Brahman is a terror. Since the laws are functioning meticulously, we assume that there is an authority whom you can't ignore, an authority which is the supreme commander of the laws. Like when people walk into Singapore, as Suresh is talking about, he has not met Lee Kuan Yew, he has not met the authority, or he has not met the person behind who is governing the country. But when you walk into a country where you find everything is so meticulous, not only Singapore, there you go to certain parts of the world, you see there is order, there's system, there's governance. You only can assume or decipher or conclude that there is an order which has been in place and that order is being followed meticulously. So when you look at the laws which are functioning meticulously, the gravitational law, whether be it the physical laws, chemical laws, biological laws, physiological laws, psychological laws, all these laws, the innumerable laws, all these laws are functioning meticulously. Why are they functioning meticulously? Because they're, as it were, obeying a commander, a supreme commander, which is sort of instilling a sense of fear in them. In that sense, you decipher, but you don't need to be afraid. Who is afraid of the law? Only one who doesn't follow the law. But one who abides by the law, there's nothing to fear. So it is not to plant fear in you, it is only talking about the one who implements the law. And Brahman is not only the creator of the world, he also operates the world in a meticulous way. So don't complain of a lack of order in the world. Everything in the world is being orderly conducted. Everything in the world has a system, and that system is being overseen by the supreme commander, that is Brahman. That's the message. Don't say, why is Brahman a terror? Again, don't ask, please. Okay. Okay. There will be a separate workshop, Malaysians defending their perspectives. We will not unmute Gayatri Ma, don't unmute Amita Ma, because then this workshop, this classroom will never end. It will take a twist beyond control. Okay. So they both have been against each other for a long time. So with due respect to each one's perspective. All right. So, and then lastly, he says, those who know this, refers to Brahman, they become immortal. Again, Amrutatva, Amitama, you must become Amruta. Bhavanti. Viduhu, Amrutaha Bhavanti. One who knows this, knows that Brahman as a terror, becomes immortal. Okay. We'll come back. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Harihi Om.